So onto the stern section, and here we are at the bulkhead, and you can see the flange is broken. So really going over this thing first time, there's a little dent in the seat deck right here. I don't know if you can see that in the glare or not. And then you can see that the seat deck is broken here. The rip starts to going up into the hull, the inner hull there, and then that rip extends up into the side too. You can see it's ripped here, and the stern deck here is separated. Right around that seam is all broken. And then no need to state the obvious here. So onto the hull side of the stern section, you can see where the flange is broke here, and the hull has been rubbed there. And unfortunately, the damage on this section starts here and pretty much goes all the way up to the stroke seat. So, I mean, there are spots here where, can you hold the boat for a minute? This is pretty much the situation here on the whole side of the boat. So you can see there's a big buckle right there in the glare, and that goes right around to the other side. So when your boat's making that noise, it's not so great. Now you can see the damage here. This goes completely right around the hull. Nasty. Now it seems to be okay right in this section here. However, here the hull's clearly ripped, and it's a whole nice soft section here. This end's pretty ripped up. It's definitely not what you would call a clean break. You can see the fin, rudder damage. There's the continuation of that rip, which goes right down into the deck here. And then you can see how right at the stroke seat here, where that continues all the way down to the side, almost to the gunnel. And here is the stern section, which is pretty beat up. You can see the stern tip. And the deck's in pretty bad shape too. So here we are on the stern section of this Sykes 8 that we just completed, and there was numerous problems that had to be resolved with this guy. For starters, the flange here at the bulkhead was broken, and then there were several spots along the seam where the deck meets the hull that were broken, separated. And then a couple of the bulkheads had to be resecured to the hull. Then into the seat deck here at the stroke seat, it was broken underneath the tracks on port and starboard sides. So we took care of all that. Now, where the backrest for the coxswain met the deck, that was broken. And then just about here, the damage started on the stern deck, and then if you saw the original video, you can see that there was no stern on the boat at all. So this section back here is brand new from the factory. So onto the hull here now, and the majority of the damage was on this side of the boat, which is the port side. And there was a couple sections where it was buckled. There was a little spot where the flange needed to be repaired. And then right after the coxswain's backrest there, this section of the boat was really damaged pretty severely, which we reconstructed that. But then we married on a new stern section from the factory. So the only thing we're waiting on now is the fin. If you notice, there was no fin on it, but we're waiting for that to come in from Australia. Actually should be here next week with a container load of boats.